Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Fall Jersey. Joe Archino back here with your Week 8 NFL picks, and I'm not going to lie, Week 8 just might be the most difficult so far this season to make good picks with, but feeling very good. The last 2 weeks have been kind to me, double-digit wins in both, so let's keep the good luck going. Right off the bat, we've got Washington on the road against the Bengals. The Bengals, of course, to me, one of those teams where they've really been hard to get a good feel for them all year. Washington has been playing better. They just lose to the Lions, but since starting the season 0-2, now they're 4-3, so they really have responded better. I think this game really is one of those split ones where you just go with the home team here. Washington has played well on the road. I think they got their first win of the season on the road against the Giants. Cousins has been looking good, but I just think this is a tough one where the Bengals now are at 3-4, are desperate to get back to 500. They get the win at home. Then the New England Patriots on the road against the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills had a good thing going for them for a while, but you knew eventually the bubble had to burst, and it did burst on the road against the Dolphins, although competitive again. But I think this is one of those games where it's been such a tough divisional matchup for the Bills against the Patriots. Tom Brady has owned this matchup. He has owned this team, and I don't see why it be any different now. I've got Patriots on the road. Now this next one, it's interesting. I'm seeing more and more people liking this one as an upset, but Cleveland over the New York Jets. That's what I have. Cleveland's home, bringing in the Jets, and largely the reason for that is that it's so hard to lose and continue to lose so many games in the NFL. The Browns are in games. They're not getting blown out. They're just losing right now because they don't have a quarterback. I think they have some talent on this roster. I think they're coached well. It's just a matter of not having that QB, but the Jets right now are in such an uncomfortable position. Geno Smith gets them a win and breaks the cold streak, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of talks about how the ownership has kind of gone against him. The coaching staff, no one's believing in him. So you have a quarterback there in Ryan Fitzpatrick who's kind of down on himself. Cleveland right now is so desperate for a win. I do think their win comes because, again, to lose 8 straight games in the NFL, that's hard to do, folks. 20% of people are taking Cleveland. I'm joining that 20% of people. I'm taking the Browns over the Jets. Then the Detroit Lions on the road against the Houston Texans. This is a very interesting matchup to me. Houston, of course, is coming off a very big loss on Monday Night Football to the Broncos. I think the talk all week has been about what a mistake it's been to spend so much money on Brock Osweiler. He certainly has not been good. His best play has been at home. Certainly when you compare the way he's played on the road and at home, it's been night and day. But I think right now, all the media attention that's going against him is going to mess with his head. And you got to remember, this is a guy who still has very little starting experience in the NFL. He's certainly never faced this deal of scrutiny for the way that he has played. The Texans are 4-3. They're going home now, and they're getting a Lions team which is really playing some of their best football right now. Matt Stafford is one of the best QBs in the NFL right now, and he's doing it without a running back. He's doing it without a great offensive line. I don't know how in the world Matt Stafford is playing so well, but it seems like when it comes to the fourth quarter and he needs a drive, he's consistently able to get it done. I like Matt Stafford and the Lions to continue to play well here and get a win on the road. Now this next one, another one that I can't believe how many people are going with the Chiefs on the road to beat the Colts. Now, if you've listened to some of my other programs before, you know I'm not a big fan of the Colts at all. I think it's a whole giant mess. But there's no way that I'm taking the Chiefs on the road to beat the Colts at home. The Colts were in desperation mode to get a win against the Titans last week, and they got that win. Andrew Luck has been playing sensational, and that's without any good offensive line. That's without a good running game, and it's really without a lot of targets to work with. When you look at the numbers of how many times he's been sacked this year, it's staggering. I mean, it's 18 to 20 in that range. Staggering numbers of how many times he has been sacked. But I think at home, The Colts are so desperate to get back to 500. They're 3-4, and the Chiefs, to me, just haven't shown that explosiveness that I think they're going to need to win a game like this on the road. I think the Chiefs are a good team, but again, what explosive component do they have to win this game? 26% of people are going with the Colts here. I'm with the minority on this one. Then the Raiders on the road against the Buccaneers, and again, I think this will be a tough game. The Buccaneers coming off their bye with a victory, so that was good to see. But the Raiders might be the best road team in the NFL. They are not phased playing on the road, and that's a credit to their young quarterback. That's a credit to the coaching Jack Del Rio has done there. But I think this is a game where, again, it's kind of set up to be a close one, but Oakland is very good closing out games and playing very well on the road, so I have them going to 6-2. Then the Seattle Seahawks on the road against the Saints, and look, the Saints I had them last week. That was one of the few losses that I did have. I thought coming off the bye, something would happen there. The Seahawks coming off a tie on Sunday Night Football to the Cardinals, so certainly they're in an interesting spot as well, but I've got the Saints here. I don't know what it is about this team, why I can't get off of them. I know something's just not clicking there. It's Drew Brees at times is not making good throws. I don't know what the disconnect is there, but I just can't get off this team. And something tells me with the way Seattle has struggled to put some points up on the board. And look, their defense has been incredible this year, but something I just can't go against the Saints here. I've got them at home. Then this is a really interesting game. The Cardinals on the road against the Panthers, and I mean, it's amazing how much different these two teams look from last season. I mean, these two are in the NFC Championship game last year, and now the two of them are really struggling on all fronts to reestablish their identity. At least Arizona, to a point, has a tremendous running game, but Carolina is sitting at 1-5. It is very uncertain. I'm picking the Panthers here at home, but I think this is a major coin flip game. I mean, you're not touching this one with a 10-foot pole if you don't have to. This is a very difficult one. I could see going either way, but to play it safe, I just go with the home team in that situation. Then the Denver Broncos take on the San Diego Chargers. They just played them a week or two ago on Thursday Night Football. Now the Broncos get them at home. Gary Kubiak is back, and I think that's the biggest reason why you picked the Broncos here. But the Chargers are playing good football. Early in the season, they had heartbreaker after heartbreaker, losing games in the most unbelievable ways in the fourth quarter. They almost lost that one to the Broncos, but they were able to gut it out. They've won 2 in a row now, the Chargers, and I think right now they certainly have a lot more confidence in their ability to finish out games, especially with pulling it out the way they did against Atlanta on the road. But I think back-to-back road games like this is just too difficult, and the Broncos get it done. Then the Atlanta Falcons at home against the Green Bay Packers, and the Falcons had a tremendous start to the season, lose their first game, then they win 4 in a row. Now they've lost 2 in a row. They are in desperate need of a win, and I have them getting that victory. Green Bay, to me, is 4-2, but that's a very deceiving 4-2 because, again, it's so easy to get wrapped up in the team because of Aaron Rodgers and because of the numbers, but there's another, again, kind of like the Saints, there's some disconnect there that it's just not easy to put your finger on top of. So to me, I think the Falcons could very well be like they were last year, where they pulled off all those wins and then their whole season kind of derailed on top of them. I do think that could happen, but I think in this case, they do get the win because there's just something not connecting with this Green Bay Packers team. Then a major divisional matchup in the NFC North and NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. And again, I think, the Cowboys had that bye at a really good time. They lose their first game. They've won 5 games, now 5-1. And look, the best offensive line in the game belongs to the Cowboys. The best running game in the league belongs to the Cowboys. And they're getting sensational play from their young quarterback. And to have the bye where they did, I think that's very important for a young quarterback like that. The Eagles kind of get themselves back on track with a win against the Vikings at home. But at home for the Cowboys, with that offensive line, with that running game, they make it very difficult for you to control the clock and control the tempo and the pace of the game with the way that they play. I have them winning here and going to a really surprising 6-1. And then our Monday night game, the Minnesota Vikings on the road against the Chicago Bears. And if it was anyone else, maybe with the exception of 3 or 4 teams, I think you would normally go with the home team in a case like this. But the Bears just have so much uncertainty in so many areas that you know you have to go with the Vikings here. But you never know in a divisional matchup like this in the NFC North. But I think most people, 96% of people, in fact, are going with the Vikings, and I will not deviate from that 96%. But that is going to do it for this Week 8 NFL Picks segment. This is the Sports Vault with Jersey Joe Archino. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll catch everybody in the next episode.